Hi, guys.
Hi guys, we're set up in, the doggies might be in play mood today.
You're so eager to get them to just play in the background.
Let's see, oh, she's sniffing up there.
If people are just listening to us, they can't even see them, though.
Oh, can't they?
Well, if they're
Well,
just
they can see
listening,
that. Well, they can hear this.
it's kind of annoying.
That's why I did it. I've got more annoying toys though.
People aren't going to listen to us.
They'll like the annoyance of it all. They'll keep it going for a little bit. Anyway, hi guys.
Hi.
Hi. And what have you been doing this week besides becoming Australian again?
We have been starting to plan and going to America later in the year.
Yes, I only decided today that we would do America this
Yes. And we...
Might be our last.
Why?
I'm getting old.
Oh. What am I going to
Sorry,
do?
for you little young... Well, you can run your own tour. You can have your Only Farts page tour. You can go around with bags of farts running workshops.
Oh, my God.
Well, you could take off. Well, you could do it. Just, you should... How many millions of times have you heard me do it? I reckon we should try it. In fact, that could make a really good friggin' tutorial.
What, me teaching?
You doing a photographic shoot.
We already
Without
did.
my help. No, without me shooting somebody else. Setting up everything, cameras, lights, everything.
Who would I shoot? I'd be so nervous.
We'll get Lindsay on, someone.
No, but Lindsay's a photographer. She'd judge me.
We'll get Anne in. Anne would do more.
That could be funny, actually,
We'll
though.
get Shay in.
She's a photographer too.
Or we'll get... So we've got to get some numbskull in that
No.
doesn't know anything.
I'd be so nervous.
Why?
I don't know.
But you're... Sorry, 7 years you've listened to me talk shit. Certainly, and my what's that little mouse called? Marsupial amount.
What?
Minute amount of...
Don't let me kick that, by the way.
I'm not going to kick it.
You might.
I'm just leaning.
Okay.
I can't fall off this edge.
Okay.
What do you want?
Yeah, I have heard you run a workshop or two before, so
And you've been on how many photo shoots?
I don't know, a few.
And how many tutorials?
A couple.
So you should know everything. So what are my camera settings?
F8 160 of a second and 100 ISO.
There you go. So you've already got that right. And you're going to set up your light and then keep exposing till when?
Till it goes off on the tip of your nose.
Yes, there you go.
And then you take it back to
Yes.
2/10.
See?
Is that correct?
Yes. This could be really good. I could just retire and you do it from now on.
Maybe. That could be funny.
It's definitely happening. Straight after the potty, I'm writing this in the joint to-do list.
Of me doing...
You're going to do a YouTube.
Of me doing a shoot.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
You learnt 3-point lighting.
I'm not using 3-point lighting. I'll use a big octa.
Oh, of course you would.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
this could be fun, actually.
could be fun.
Look at us coming up with ideas.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
What?
Found the dog's at spot.
Oh, yeah, no, she's just on the side of her upper chest area is her
Little spot,
little
her kicky
itchy
spot. Yeah,
Funny, it's nearly the same on both of them. On Gidget, it's just each side of the rib cage.
But yes, that's
yes.
that's what I've been doing, and doing some stuff for our Europe tour coming up very soon.
Did you need to acclimatise again?
Acclimatise to what?
Well, after when we do Europe, we get back home, it's like, thank God we're hearing Aussie accents and I can understand what everybody's saying. Well, you weren't in Japan long enough for that.
I was only there for 10 days and there was lots of Australians there.
Oh,
Like, so many of my friends were over there.
but you didn't see them.
No. Well, when I say friends, like one of my
What,
friends
the people off your sites?
Like I had people on, I never go on Facebook, but I went on Facebook and I saw like...
You have been going on Facebook. You've been posting on there.
No, I haven't.
Your Paris pictures are up there. Not Paris, sorry.
Because I post them on Instagram
Japan.
and I have it linked automatically every time I post an Instagram post. It goes
so whenever someone comments and you don't see it?
On Facebook, unless I go to Facebook, but I hardly go on there.
So there's this really nice comment that you didn't even look at.
Which one?
The really nice one.
I'll go on and look afterwards. I just hardly go on there.
Yeah, it's just, I can't remember her name, Stephanie or something, wrote the most nicest thing about your wedding photos.
Oh, I'll have to go on and have a look.
Oh, you nasty person.
Don't say that. I basically just go on to do our group and approve posts and...
Oh, yes, our group, yes. While Bec was away, I had to look after the group and I don't know, for some reason photographers think they're a better photographer if they go right to the edge of what would be classed as allowed or even just push past. It doesn't make you a better photographer if you see an edge of a nipple or a little bit of pubic hair. It does not make you a better photographer. In fact, 9 times out of 10 it makes you worse because if she's got a really pretty face but there's some little tuft at the bottom of the picture attacking your eye going, look here, look here, look here, you've just destroyed your picture.
Sorry, just moving that down. Yeah, and it also, like, I get frustrated with it as well because thankfully I think the strike might have gone from the group now.
No, it's still sitting
It's still there? I don't know how long... I can't find any information of how long it's going to take before it goes away.
One thing I have noticed, so now there's a lot of pictures going to an area where they say we think this is scam. Spam, and 90% of them are the pictures that are right on the edge of what would be...
That's really strange.
So I think instead of them, like before, they would pull it down before we even approved it and then give us a strike.
Yeah.
And we haven't even seen it, we haven't approved it, nobody else can look at it.
And then our group gets a risk of getting shut down.
But now, so there was at least one every single day, and every single one that was listed in there, potentially spam, was predominantly on the edge of what
is allowed.
Could or... Well, I think they're much stricter on groups than they are on individual accounts.
Right. I don't know, I just feel like if you want to post stuff that's over, like, what the rules of a certain site are, like, just post it somewhere else. Go on Twitter, where you're allowed to post it. Sorry, X.
Part of it could be my problem because I don't even allow censorship.
Yeah.
So they can't even censor it. So we're either having, oh, who saw that girl's butt naked? He is so cool. Because they see sort of squiggle marks over their vagina and their... But even that, to me, wrecks the picture. But I'm sort of really stuck on that because...
Weren't you going to start posting some of your photos with...
Yeah, but I'm just trying to find the right way of censoring it that doesn't detract.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just going to look for a similar tone and put a bar, not a squiggle, just a whole bar, but it's nearly to the same toning of where it's going on, so it doesn't take your eyes off the actual picture. I don't know. It's just I've been doing some really cool work with, say, Anne and a few shoots like that. And it's a shame that people... Well, they can
go to the blog and see them.
They can just go to my blog and see them.
Yeah.
We're getting my personal page redone at the moment, which will put the blog and that all together, which might be easier.
Woof.
But, the dogs love it here because there's no foot traffic in our house. So they look out the window to see nothing. They might hear the postman. They don't get to see him, but now they get to see people walking around. Belle.
Now, speaking of...
Let's see how well I've trained her. Belle, come here. No, I said Belle, not Gidget. All right, Gidget, round here. Sit. Oh, she's begging now. Did you see that? All right, Belle. Yeah, you're a good girl. Came when I called you, so you can have that one. There you go. That's it. That's all you're getting.
Speaking of socials, I've been rather active on mine.
I noticed.
I know. I never normally post, but I've got so much content now.
It's just honeymoon content.
Yeah, it's still content.
So you just, once the honeymoon wears off, it's going to be nothing till there's baby pictures.
No, I'm not planning on that anytime soon.
So they didn't post that much for your wedding.
I have more to post. I'm still waiting on more photos from the photographer.
Are you picking it?
I don't know. I didn't pick the ones they've already sent.
Are they doing an album?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I've got so over it all that I just
Can I
can't...
sell you stuff? This is really cool.
Why?
Oh, it'll just cost you $10,000 and afterwards I'll let you know what I'm going to give you.
I can't remember if I'm getting an album or not because there was someone I was looking at that definitely had an album and I can't remember if it was this people or someone else. So I just can't remember. I'm just over it all.
You sure now?
Yes. Anyway, what have you brought to the table?
I was going to talk a bit more about your wedding.
I'm done with that.
All right, well,
This chapter of my
honeymoon?
This chapter of my life is what am I going to do with my? Actually, I said this to Jared the other day. I was like, "What are we going to do now? Like, we don't have
babies.
We don't have any. We don't have a wedding to plan.
Have babies. You can't go to Duffs anymore. They've been cancelled in Australia, so you'll never see a Duff again.
I said to him, I was like, "What are we going to do when we're home?" And he's like, "Well, aren't you going to Europe in a month?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I have to plan that."
Oops, my daughter, I think, has a few chilies.
Oh.
Sorry, my daughter just messaged me. I'm on the phone because I'm ignoring Beck and I'm not. I've got my podcast topics. First topic, Beck wedding.
No,
Second topic,
stop it.
Beck's honeymoon.
Stop it.
Third topic, Beck's baby.
No. Not
Fourth
having...
topic, Beck's divorce.
No, don't say that.
Fifth topic, who's Beck dating now?
No.
Oh, so it's up to me now.
No, all right. I have the podcast topics on my phone as well because I made it a shared note. I love shared notes. They're so convenient.
A shared note?
Yeah. See, I've got podcast topics on my phone because I shared it from your computer to my phone or to my Apple account.
But you didn't put it into our podcast shared note.
We don't have...
Yes, we do. We have a podcast shared note. See, your face is in there.
Yeah, that's what I've got it here.
But I'm not seeing your stuff
I haven't written anything.
Oh, so you're going to steal my ideas?
I was just reading what you've written down.
It's a book.
Oh, yes, because you asked the
Gok.
AI.
I was going to get to that.
Oh.
So you're going to just steal my things?
No, I was just saying what you put on here.
So, all right, so let's do the first one.
But yeah, if you have iPhones, everyone should get around the shared notes. They're very convenient. Me and my best friend use it all the time.
Notes is actually, there's so much you can do with them. There's whole YouTubes about, like they go for 3 and 4 hours, how much different stuff you can do with notes.
We have a shared one for documentaries. It's got what streaming service it's on and the title.
Who are you doing that with?
Casey.
Oh, Casey.
My best friend.
Yeah, that's right. No,
mostly on true crime documentaries because that's our thing.
Your thing, watching people kill people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love true crime buddies.
Well, you can start the next topic. It's the top.
Sleep. Yes. I'm so tired.
Well, I know there's times where I can just sleep like a log. And then there's other times that I struggle to get to sleep. And there's other times where I fall asleep straight away, then wake up 2 hours later and then can't get back to sleep till 10 minutes before the alarm goes off.
I go through that as well. I think it has something to do with the moon.
Some of it I do think it's to do with moons and...
Spilt wine and get a tissue.
Moons and things like that. But I have struggled a fair bit since Christmas.
Oh, that's a while.
Yeah, no, it has been a while. It's like some nights I've literally... And I've listened to a couple of the sleep doctors and yeah. And then they turn around and say they have trouble sleeping. I think, well, what's the use of listening to you if you're going... And they're talking all things about having temperature-controlled beds. You've got to turn the temperature down a fraction in your bed and at a certain time you need to turn it up and then you need to turn it down.
No.
There's all these...
Gidget. I think, yeah.
No, she came round. You can have fun for that. Good girl.
I have trouble sometimes as well.
I've felt it's been like very consistent. And really it went for like a couple of weeks and it was, I can't get to sleep. And I know that they say you shouldn't lay in bed if you can't get to sleep. But one night I decided, oh, I'll get up and work. And next minute it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm still sitting behind the computer thinking, well, I'm going to be useless tomorrow or today doing that. So I just decided, well, if I'm just laying there not doing anything, my body's sleeping, my eyes are sleeping. It's only my brain that's not.
Yeah.
Then I decided, well, self-medication might work. So I tried crack cocaine and heroin and ice and tried sniffing glue and none of that worked. But I realised about 3 or 4 or 5 days ago, I finally got up to a point where I wasn't feeling buried in what had to be done and couldn't see an end. It's now I've most likely got 2 weeks solid work, then we'll be completely covered for when we do Europe. So I don't have to edit YouTube videos or edit
while we're traveling.
stuff while we're traveling because it's just so hard.
And it's also, it's hard when you're editing, but also that frees up time for us to be creating new stuff so that when we get home we can edit that.
And I also find that the quality when I'm travelling trying to edit isn't as good.
Because you don't have your nice big screen.
Lots of things, it just doesn't flow.
No.
At home, I'd get my best work, like she would go to bed. Pretty much, my wife goes up into the room normally around about 8:30, 9, and she'll either watch one of her cooking channels till she falls asleep, or I'll put on some movie for her. And from then till 12 o'clock, I can get so much work done. I just think I get into this zone for that period of time.
The zone.
And I don't get distracted by anything.
Hello.
But I also feel, and I'm working on that. It's like a sort of a sucking blanket when you're young.
What?
You know those kids that walk around and suck on a blanket?
No.
Well, it's a thing when I grew up. It was even the Peanuts, the cartoon. I think it was Linus used to walk around sucking his thumb for a blanket.
Really strange.
There was kids that took forever and they could never give up the blanket. Like they would stop sucking on it, but they had to keep the blanket. It couldn't be thrown out because then they could never suck it again.
Okay.
Well, sometimes like the smokers who give up but still keep a packet just in case, but then they never end up giving up because there's always that packet.
I bought back a packet of smokes from Japan.
Of course you did.
But I haven't had one since I got home. It's just like a holiday thing.
A holiday? Oh, so is that why you smoke when we go to Europe? You're
I'm
on holiday. So why am I paying you to be on
I'm
holiday?
not on holiday. I normally smoke a bit in Europe because everyone else is.
You say it's a Europe thing, but then you don't really smoke in America.
But in Japan, we could smoke in the bars, so I don't know.
Only the small bars.
Yeah, I know, but we went to, or the club that we went to, you could smoke in one of the rooms, and I don't know, I just felt like one, so I went and bought a packet.
Did Jared have any? No. So he doesn't smoke at all
I think he had like one.
So he just vapes now?
Yeah. But even that, he doesn't.
He's not a big smoker.
No, he's like doesn't even really vape. It's only when he has a couple of drinks that he'll tend to do it. But speaking of that though, because we were in like the club and you could smoke in there, so I went and bought a packet of ciggies, and then when we left, oh my God, I could just smell it on me, like in my hair and my clothes, and I was like, ugh, this is disgusting.
Thank you.
It was disgusting.
So you don't, and I know I didn't, when I was a smoker, I didn't realise myself.
Yeah.
So everyone that says they've given up smoking, but the second you walk in, doesn't matter what you spray on yourself, we can smell it.
Yeah, it was.
So people who lie to their parents think that your parents are dumb. But
oh my God.
I used to hate it when we were first travelling, and every place we went that has smoking room, you would dive in there, especially the ones in the Middle East. You couldn't even see in the room. You opened the door and it was just fog. And Bec would come out and sit in the plane near me. I was like, Jesus, girl, you stink.
Yeah, it was really, really gross. And yeah, you don't realise until you don't have it for so long that, And I think especially because it was such a small enclosed area and there were so many people around, so it wasn't even just me, it was all the other people that were smoking, and it was gross.
I think I'd given up for about 3 or 4 years when I got the gig with Chase's nightclub. And my gig was just to go there to shoot their VIP. So if there was no VIPs, I didn't go there. So I'd just ring up and say they got 2 VIPs. They're expecting to get in midnight or 1. And this is back in the days when the smoking was there. And I'd normally have to work till about 4 in the morning. So VIPs would normally piss off about then. And get in the car, grab a Suvi on the way home.
A souvlaki.
A souvlaki, because that's what we do in Australia. We have 24-hour souvlaki places. No, most of them shut at 6 in the morning and open up at like 10 o'clock at night. And I'd get home and I'd always have to have a shower before I went to bed. I couldn't even... I could smell it on myself.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
Anyway, now I smell like strawberry lychee.
I do worry every now and then when I'm on a plane and smell this sweet sort of lollipop-y stuff going, Bec, you're going to get caught. I think the thing is now you get caught, you're banned for life.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Maybe I'll stop doing it then.
I think. I could be wrong. I saw something on one of those fake news platforms.
Fake news platforms.
Yes. I'm trying to work out the fake news isn't always working because I saw something, I'm not even going to go in what it was, but it was definitely fake news, 100% definite. So I looked it up. Australia doesn't have tariffs on America, but Trump said there's a 10% tariff on Australia. No one put the little fake news thing up underneath it. But
speaking of that, I saw a thing on TikTok, I think, that apparently America put in tariffs against China or something.
Oh yeah, massive.
So all of these people that work in the factories in China have all come out and started showing how much you can buy directly from them and the websites that you can buy directly from them. And there's stuff like Birkin bags are apparently made there, but then I think they put a different logo on it or something. They sell for like $30,000 in the States and you can buy them direct from them for $1,600.
Yeah, no, that was a big...
So that's their
Japan just said they're going to flood the world with they're just going to not have Louis Vuitton on it. It's still the same bag.
Maybe I'll buy myself a Birkin.
A Birkin.
I don't have any money and I don't really like Birkins that much.
There's a lot of things.
It's such a petty retaliation.
But then look at what... They put tariffs on our wine and on our beef because our Prime Minister said something nasty about them, so they made up some rubbish that they needed. They put 30% tariff. So China's the worst for doing that.
I remember when that happened.
China's the actual worst. They use a tariff as a blackmail on countries to bend over to them. And look, some of the things, I don't know how much, this is what I hate. I still don't believe there's anywhere I can trust what they write. But it's a little bit like a scientist. If I employed a scientist to check out global warming, I'm going to say I don't believe it's happening. That's all I got to do is I don't believe in global warming. Can you check it out for me? I'm going to pay you $1 million. Guess what his finding is going to be?
I don't know.
You're right. If I said to the same scientist, I really think global warming's bad, the answer... He would just look for the evidence to say what he wants, what the client already wants to see. Right. And because some of those things, so I didn't think Australia had tariffs on anybody except we do have our 10% GST, but that's on everybody, including Australia.
Yes.
So it's not a tariff, it's a tax on stuff that's bought by Australians, so that we can have enough money to waste on stupid governments.
Oh my God.
That was very thankful. I'm very thankful for you finding me that. We're going into stupid elections and we're in the same boat as most other countries. we don't have clear difference in policies.
So I found a voting compass thingy that would ask you questions, and you'd say if you strongly agree, somewhat agree, neutral, somewhat disagree, strongly disagree, or I don't know. And you would just mark how your views on these policies, and then at the end it told you where you fall on who to vote for. I thought it was really handy.
And the survey's been run by a very left TV. Well, it's a government TV station, but run by the left, the extreme left. They were,
but it wasn't. I didn't think it was biased at all.
No, that's what I mean. When you first said your first survey came back that you were in the middle, I thought, well, because it's run by them, any money you were to the right, but they've brought you back to middle.
No, I'm very in the middle.
But when I did mine, they've sat me. I'm not going to disagree where they put me. And some of my answers were definitely not right answers. They were quite left. And other answers, but overall,
I did mine again, and I'm still in the middle.
No, but then it zeroed in where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
I'm above middle.
What do you mean above middle?
No, I'm not in the middle. I'm off to one side.
I'm in the middle.
No, I'm off to one side.
So it didn't really help me that much.
Did you answer truthfully?
Yeah.
Did the ones that you weren't sure what it was, did you say I don't know?
Yeah.
You did say don't know?
Yeah.
That's all right. So I think if you said stay the same, that's not going to give them anything, whereas a don't know is they're going to ignore that question.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm still in the middle, so it didn't really help me, but it was still...
It helped me because then I could look at the people that I get to vote for and I could see straight away that, yeah, definitely not voting from them. Then there was the independent, and I looked at the one independent and thought, oh, she might work, and it was really good because you could click on, it had all the main things, like, what's it called?
Policies?
Policies, yeah, maybe policies. So they had something like nuclear power, it had something about, all these different things. You clicked on it and it gave that person's view.
I think it was really...
And very quickly I could see that person's view was definitely not somebody I'd vote with.
I just think it was a really handy tool, especially because here in Australia, voting's compulsory, so everyone has to. And I think if we have to, it's good to know what you're doing rather than just do a donkey vote.
I think voting should be compulsory.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Because it's affecting everybody. And if you just go, no, I couldn't care who gets in, I bet you they do if they did something radical.
Yeah, true.
And you'll be the one walking around the streets with holding a sign. Well, if you'd voted, maybe that person wouldn't have got in.
Yeah.
Anyway,
enough about politics.
No, it's just... It answered my questions.
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
You're glad. It doesn't sound like it.
Wine. Today I am drinking D'Angelo Sabs Shiraz.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
I've got to be really careful because that label is nearly identical to another D'Angelo that I've got, which costs $80 a bottle.
This was a 2015.
Did you take my good one?
I don't know. It was in the cupboard here.
No, it's not.
Oh.
That's all right. Yes, it is 2015.
Is this the real expensive one?
No.
Oh.
No, the real expensive one's 2011.
Oh, okay. Well, this was just in the cupboard there.
Yeah, I know. That's the box I bought for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Where is it from? Langhorne Creek. Where is that?
It's near Langhorne. All right.
What?
Good.
It says that it's got an abundance of flavours such as mint, chocolate and fruit. I don't taste any mint, which is good because I have mint.
Yeah, but that's because you're a smoker and you've got no taste buds left.
I hate mint.
Mint.
Mojitos, yuck.
I like mint, but I don't like mojitos.
No.
Yeah, I don't get some drinks that everyone goes raving. Yeah.
Like Negronis? Ugh, way too bitter.
Never had a Negroni.
Oh, they're like bitter. Bitter AF.
Bitter AF.
Yeah. Anyway, what were you going to say before I started talking about alcohol? Because I'm such an alcoholic.
You're such an alcoholic. Catch up, would you? I knew this morning, because I put up a YouTube last night, I knew this morning there'd be maybe 40, 50 comments, and that'd all be books. And because Bec has to do them, because someone might write something and I read it as something different. What did I do yesterday? I was saying some comments about something. And it was,
you thought that Mary had a new acting coach. She'd done a photo shoot with someone and tagged them and said new couch. And you're like, oh, she has a new acting coach. And I was like, what? It says new couch, not coach.
This is why I don't read. And you just hang on me all the time.
It's cute.
It's cute. Anyway, so I knew we were going to get it. And because the one word which will get everyone going, gear. And I knew there'd be lots of comments where people are just telling their story, which is all right, but they normally write a book. And then when you get to the end, you go, you took all this effort to write there and there's no answer.
What do you mean?
Well, they took all this effort to write a paragraph or 2 paragraphs.
Oh, but they didn't ask a question or something.
They didn't answer a question or ask for you.
Yeah, they just didn't ask anything.
Well, what do you want me to say? You've just told me your life story, so...
I still say thank you because, I'm still thankful that they took the time to comment and share their...
Oh, yeah, but you still feel, what do I say?
Sometimes. Sometimes it's easier. Sometimes I can bounce off something that they said, but sometimes I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to say.
Well, even the YouTube AI algorithm, the big books decide, we're not going to give you suggestions.
I know, I'm like, please. But I still read all of them and respond to pretty much all of them.
I like how it's really in thirds. There's 1/3 of people that have gone, you are so right, I'm so guilty of this. I've just got to stop doing this because you're 100% right. There's another third that write the books because I want to tell you their story. And then there's a third that want to argue with you because they didn't actually get what you meant.
There's a couple of those.
And they love their gear too much. So for them, it is all about the gear. It's not about the photo. It's about, this lens, look at its numbers. It has to be good.
I think it took me an hour and a half to get through all the comments this morning.
When I first got in, I clicked on and thought, oh.
It took me so long because there was just so much reading involved. And then I was also getting a bit sidetracked with other things as well.
Sidetracked?
Because I'll be in the middle of it, but then an email will pop up and I'll see the little preview. And I'm really good at being like, I'll come back, I'll quickly do that. And I need to stop doing that, though. It's a really bad habit of mine. I've noticed.
I know.
I need to start on something and then just focus on that. Yeah, but I think I have undiagnosed ADHD, so it's really hard for me to just...
You're just undiagnosed.
It's really hard for me to
You're 100% undiagnosed. But yeah, I was expecting to have to do another one. I was expecting there would have been a lot more wanting to make it about the gear. But I think I didn't think I said it as clear as the way I wanted to, but I didn't know how else to do it. And that's why I had it. It's not is about the gear. And Bec was saying that you can't say that.
It's not grammatically correct.
In my mind, you can.
It is not grammatically correct.
Well, it is not is about the gear.
It's not a sentence.
It is when I write it.
It's not.
Well, you can't go, it is not about the gear. It's not giving you 2 choices.
It's still just not grammatically correct, but anyways.
Well, the main thing I was trying to get over, to the amount of people who say it's all right for you, you got all this money and all this gear, and I just say, well, aren't I the right person to tell you it's not?
Yeah.
Because I have experienced all this gear, I have wasted the money on it. All right, a lot of my gear was bought purposely for things, or it was bought because I was unhappy with the gear I had and didn't realise maybe it's the camera's the problem, not the lenses. Try a different camera and then you might stop buying thousands of lenses.
Yeah.
But it's also hard. And
no, there was a lot of people were agreeing with you that,
The camera that feels comfortable in your hand, you don't even think about.
Yeah, the one that's going to help, that's going to make you the most comfortable is how you're going to get the best photos.
And the one that you sort of don't think. So it's one of the worst things. I did this with an old assistant years ago, and I used to tell her, Kiki, put your freaking blinkers on. Don't stop seeing the stuff on the side. Just because she'd be shooting, would be in some abandoned building that was amazing, and she'd be shooting someone there thinking about, it'd be so good over there, but not shooting this properly. But if she walked over there, she'd start shooting them there, but thinking, should I be back there? And you can't work like that. And it's the same with gear. If you're sitting there with a 50mm going on, should I be shooting with my 85? You're not going to get good pictures.
Because you're not focusing on what you're actually creating. You're thinking.
Yeah, you've got to be saying, right, what lens is going to give me the look for what I'm doing here? Do I want all of that background? Do I want to squash this out? Make up your mind before, and then you don't question while you're shooting.
Yes.
You just concentrate on the percents.
Well, a lot of people were agreeing with you on that. So there's your feedback.
Well, it saved me doing another one. I don't have to do a
No, a lot of
one.
people were agreeing with you. It was nice. There was a lot of good comments on there. It just took me so long to get through them all. But I did it, and I felt accomplished.
Well, one of the other things I'm going to do, I haven't worked out how I'm going to do it. I realised something over the period when you're on your honeymoon, how much I missed you, and no, I'm joking. Because I hadn't been distracted by this thing, and I could be, wow. Because I was doing a little bit of soul searching about what I'm going to shoot next, what I want to shoot, how I want to shoot, because I want to keep saying it, get back to how I want to shoot. But then I started to question, who do I want to, what do I want to shoot?
That's because we've kind of been stuck in this loop. We had a chat at the end of last year about this year. You were saying you want to go back to how you creating and shooting your stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's all well and good, but then you were like, but I don't have any models. And I'm like, well, then how do we find the models? Do you want me to contact agencies? And then you're like, no, because they're all just going to be e-com models. I'm like, okay, so then how do we find the models for you to create? And it just seems to feel like this never-ending circle.
This is another level past there, which means I shouldn't be even thinking about this till I sort out this. And I definitely so I won't go too depth in it now because I really think most I've been inspired on YouTube, because I want to be able to show pictures, and on YouTube's not going to let me on some of them. And I'm going to be talking about other photographers, and maybe I'll get freaking copywritten on that. But it was just the rough thing about when I look, so the photographers I absolutely love, if I look at the predominant amount of work that they're shooting, they're famous for, no, I don't like that stuff. All right, does this make sense?
A little bit. Can you elaborate more? Or no?
Yeah, I can a little bit. Peter Limburg, adore his work.
Yeah.
But my favourite shots are quite different to most of his shots.
Right.
A lot of the shots that are in the fashion magazines and things like that, there's no direct connection with the photographer. A lot of look away, a lot of...
Right.
It's trying to tell a story. And it sings like one of his famous editorial shoots is two gay girls in a park with their dogs. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't write they're gay, but this is a story he told the girls.
Right.
And he shot these things with long lens, bang, 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 bang. They just walked and carried on. So completely just like he'd set up the story and got the designers never had to everything. They could just work, so he knew they were going to be pretty shots, and that told the story.
Right.
Whereas Kate Moss against the timber wall is what I love.
In what?
Kate Moss against the timber wall.
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
which is
I thought you said in September wall. And
against the timber wall.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard September and I was like, what the hell is this?
They're still famous shots, but some of my favourite shots are him of the models are straight down the lens. It's so intimate, you're seeing into their soul.
Yes.
But I realise that so much of his work isn't. And then if I go on to say someone like Helmut Newton, amazing storylines, absolutely incredible storylines. But those models are practically super glued in that position to tell the silhouette story. If you look at their eyes and that, there's nothing much of them. There's nothing of the model in the story. It's you've made this a story. The model is actually not the story. Whereas my love is to get the insides out. Yes. So I like to make the model the actual, like have a story that the model's in, but then make the model the story.
Yes.
Like what's the model's thought as that's happening is the story that I'm after. And that's also a little bit of the photographer I've cancelled, Patrick de Michelia, but he did have some of that, but some of the way he got that was just so inappropriate.
Yeah.
That's why he's been cancelled in my eyes. But I do look at other people like Greg Cadell and Marcus, these people that I don't love lots of their work, but the bit I love is the bit that relates to my photography. So now I've actually realised I've got to shoot it thinking of what I'm after, because I don't think about these other photographers while I'm shooting. Like when I'm setting up, I've got to realise that, yeah, this fluffy shot all these shots I like of Peter Lindbergh, they're not the type of shots I would take. So I shouldn't be ooh-ahing them so much.
Ooh-ahing.
In fact, I shouldn't be. And I'm trying to try doing it. I'm going to try and not look at any work at all and just let my own thoughts and my own storyboards.
Nice.
I was going to talk to you a bit more about that.
Shall we schedule a meeting?
No.
I don't get nervous anymore when you say we need to have a talk.
No, I mean just in general over models and things like that. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to set up storyboards and just show the person this is a storyboard, this is what I'm going to do, rather than go through my folders, pick out something.
I think you need to change that.
I think I need to.
Because...
Well, that's what I originally did.
Yeah.
It's only because of the whole world picking on us fat old people that have a camera.
You're not fat.
I know, I've lost a lot of weight. Lost nearly, I was going to say 14 kilos, 1.4 kilos.
Oh, nice.
Oh, sorry, no. Oh, no, 14 kilos. I'm right. Since last year.
Good on you.
Good on me.
I'm proud of you.
I should have another drink for that. You better keep talking because I'm at the fridge.
Well, I was just going to say that, yeah, I think that seems to be another thing that, truck going past, that you do, which is really cool, that you collect all these images and then you show the models and you get them to pick out their favourites from that, and then that's what you can do. But then I'm finding not all... I don't know a percentage amount, but I'm seeing you then go through the photos after the shoot and be like, oh, I really wish I had shot them in this style, not this style that they picked out. And that's, yeah, like I just think that you, after the fact, you're like, oh, they would have suited a different style to what they picked out.
Yeah.
And I also find that models are not used to that as well, and I see sometimes when you're like, you get to pick.
The amount of times they pick stuff that just doesn't even suit them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And then also a lot of, pretty much every shoot that they're going to, except for coming in here, is they're rocking up to the shoot and they're being told what they're doing. So they're just used to that. And then when they come in here and you give them all this free range of, you pick out the inspiration photos, you pick out what you're wearing, they kind of get a little bit overwhelmed because they're not used to that, and they're like, oh, there's too much choice, like I'm kind of a bit panicked. Whereas I think if they're just told this is what we're doing, that's like what they're used to anyways. Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense.
Yeah. And I've seen a number of times that they do kind of, and I think that maybe that's why, like, when they go through the storyboard folder and they're picking out things that don't suit them, because they're just kind of grabbing anything because they're a bit overwhelmed with all the photos, and so they're just like, oh, I'll just grab a bunch
Or I like this model.
Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on that.
I'll never forget, we did this on one of the workshops where I just wanted the people to see exactly how I work. So one of the models that was coming in, it was for one of the more advanced sessions. I said, so this is what happens, the model's getting in. I sat at the computer, said, you got 5 minutes, just pick out some pictures of just what you feel like doing today. But don't pick pictures that we can't do. So and I point out, see this picture in the ocean, we don't have the ocean
This picture with
here.
an elephant, we don't have an elephant here.
The toilet's not big enough for us to shoot you in there. And yeah, the picture of the elephant, we don't have an elephant. Beck might be able to get on all fours and go, with it. So we left her alone for 5 minutes. We came back and she'd gone into my other storyboard, which is my messed up storyboard. And it was a picture I just love because it's just so you can't help but look at it and go, why? And it's just this naked girl which's been cut off. You can't see her head and most of her legs. You just see the back of her torso. She's laying down and it's got the wedge of watermelon in her butt. You know that picture?
Yeah.
And she's picked that picture and goes, all right, has anyone got some watermelon? She goes, oh, no, I don't want it. I said, you've put it in, we'll find some watermelon. Don't worry, if we can't find watermelon, is rock melon all right? And she goes, no, I just saw it. It was such an awesome photo. I had to collect it.
Yeah, it's a bit funny.
But no, there's a bigger picture. And I know I keep on and keep on and keep on. And it is hard for me to get back to my headspace that I used to be. Because I was much more, I don't know, because I trusted the world. I thought the world would trust me, whereas now I don't trust the world. Well, just in a way that people who don't even know someone are happy to comment what they think that person is.
Yeah.
Without ever meeting them.
Yeah.
And even someone I was talking to on the phone the other day, she's mentioned she'd seen so much of my work, but just didn't expect my views on certain things. She said, it was like, 100% didn't expect your take on all these things. It's how wrong we can be, you know.
That's kind of why I like when, it hasn't happened too many times, but there's been a couple times that I can remember in the 7 years I've been around that you'll get someone coming for you online and we just get their contact, we'll either ask them for their phone number or find their phone number and give them a call, and after you talk to them for about 10 minutes, they're completely changed.
Completely, yeah.
Like, even remember that girl that had a go at us? And then
the one about the Tarantino show. Yeah. She completely flip-flopped. And she just made this up, got in her head because her photographer who followed me and copied everything I did.
Not everything.
No, but you know what I mean. I'd never even heard of him. I never heard of her.
Yeah, but she followed both of us. I think I had some mutuals with her on Facebook or something.
But this photographer also was friends with my son, had gathered that my son would have said, oh, look at this guy's... Why would you even go there and accuse me of copying his lighting?
They accused both of us of copying their entire shoot.
And then
But then when we explained that we're both massive Tarantinos, we'd never even seen their work. We don't follow either of them. And we're both massive Tarantino fans. And the lighting was based off a photo that we did in 2015.
Yeah. So we copied the lighting from a shoot we did back in 2015. Beck knows the story. We found the Tarantino shirt and I was hell-bent on finding a high-waisted black underwear. And we were in LA and we found it. I said, we can do that Tarantino shoot now.
Yeah, never even seen their work. And I think it was a bit tail between her because she just had in her mind.
It took me 5 to 10 minutes to calm her down on the phone. And then all of a sudden I saw this backflip happening because...
She realised she'd had it all wrong.
And I don't think she realised that I had no idea who the photographer was she was talking about. And when I mentioned it was based on the picture I did with back in this day, that guy hadn't even started photography then. But lots of, and those type of things I think started to click. But I also had this, it was before you. It was one of my icon shots. I think it was the bike shot with Audrey. I can't remember. But I had someone attack me over that, saying that I'm just a blatant copier. And it turned out that the person that he was standing up, a good friend of his, was a full-on liar and a blatant copier, and had changed the date of the picture
Oh my God.
to before my picture by about 3 weeks. But the problem is nobody could show me it published before the date I published mine. I said, well, how could I have ever seen it if it was published 3 months after mine? And all of a sudden, things fell into place.
Well, that's why I'm getting better at it. Is this, I guess,
What,
I'm
modelling?
saying? No, just don't jump to conclusions. Like,
Sometimes it is too easy.
I know.
Sometimes the easiest way out is just to
jump to conclusions, but
yes,
I'm trying.
like Mary's new coach.
I'm trying to not jump to conclusions as much as I think I used to. But I feel like, in this day and age, unfortunately, people do see something online because we're all frigging glued to the internet these days, and someone sees something online.
I think it's the online thing that's just
and people
made
jump to
everybody
conclusions.
reactionary so quick.
Yeah, rather than taking the time to find out
I had someone the other day, like
what kind of person someone is or what the whole story is. Like,
Like I like people who look out for people, and because of that, I have found some of my work illegally being commercially used.
Yeah.
And we had a guy, I think I already mentioned, but contacted me a couple of weeks ago that saying this person had stolen my work. And when I went there, it's going, no, none of those are my pictures, but they're all from our workshops.
Yeah.
They're his pictures he's taken in my workshops. That's why Bec is one of the
remember- yeah, I
models, and
remember
Mika,
seeing-
and there's the models, and my style of lighting.
Lighting,
Well, it was my workshop, and obviously the guy was really liking my work, so his retouching was similar to the feel of my work.
I remember seeing that email come through, but like you said, I appreciate when people do look out for us and send, like they would legitimately just saying, hey, I think this person's stealing your work, but. So I appreciate that.
But we've also had one person really having a go at us about somebody was copying the style of our work, but that person was distinctly copying my style. The actual person was accusing somebody else.
Oh, yes.
But see, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
See, someone copying my style,
They like your style.
when you start music, you start doing covers.
Yeah.
So there's all of that. So look at all the friggin' like the amount of Led Zeppelin cover bands, AC/DC cover bands. So they're just paying homage to their favourite band.
Yeah. She's asleep with her tongue out.
Oh yeah, she does that. Yeah, the tongue
Should have
does.
called her back.
I should have called her back. Well, she sometimes sleeps upside down with her head hanging completely there and her tongue up over her nose. And I just go, it's Bec on an aeroplane.
Back after a big night. But so you always say, when you start music, you start doing covers. So while you're practicing learning that.
A lot of my learning was copying other people's, but then make it mine.
Yes.
So I would never put the model in the same clothes, I would never do the same pose, but I might steal the lighting. But then nobody knows because it's really hard to pick. But it's not steal, it's like they taught me how to.
Yeah. I don't see it as a problem.
I really enjoyed that shoot we did yesterday.
Yes.
The one trying to make it like a pencil drawing.
That was cool.
Because it means I'm getting...
Coming to YouTube soon.
Yeah. It means that I'm getting better because I looked at the picture and gone, this will do the lighting, and set it up and bang, it did it first frame.
You should be a professional.
Maybe that's what I should do. Although I was told today at a hardware store I should go back to fishing.
That's so
They
fun. I
wanted
love
me
it.
to write another fishing book.
I love it. You still get spotted out and about for your fishing stuff.
We even had someone at one of our photographic workshops brought my book in to sign.
Really?
Yeah, it was in New York. I'm sure you were there. So he bought my book that I wrote.
I think I remember that.
It's mainly photographed because I can't write. It's basically like a cookbook for fly fishing.
I think my funniest you getting spotted was, I think you just went across to the supermarket and someone was like, oh, hi, Peter, blah, blah, blah. And then you asked about photography and he's like, huh? No, I went to high school with you.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
You just assumed he knew you from YouTube or something.
Well, that made it even worse. I couldn't remember who he was.
Oh, I did that. When I went to Lizzie's show the other week, there's one of her friends was there. She's like, Bec, huh? She's like, oh, you probably don't remember. And I was like, huh, no, I'm really sorry, I don't remember. She's like, that's okay. Like, we met like at a party or something, and she's like, so she didn't blame me for not remembering her. But then when I was like, what's your name again? Sorry. She's like, Jeannie. And then I was like, we weren't just at a party. You camped with us at Esso. Like, I felt so rude. But she did look completely different at this show. Like, she was all dolled up and she had her, like, hair all done and stuff, whereas
But sometimes you only know, but you've only known her at Esso.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen her in the real world.
Yeah, exactly. And so I only saw her at camping in the bush for a couple of days. And that's what I mean. That's why I was like, oh, I don't really feel too bad that I didn't remember you. And she didn't take any offence to it.
I still think the worst thing I've ever done was I had a shoot in Paris. This was back when agencies would pay me to do a bit of training, as also get them a couple of pictures in the style that I was shooting for their books. And I did this shoot with this girl, and then 2 days later I had another shoot through the agency and couldn't speak any English at all. And they said, well, we'll send someone, an interpreter, with her, because we really need some good shots because her folio is terrible and we want to get her some work. So we're shooting on the first shoot, just over posing and just over pose. I got the odd picture. That was on the Monday. On the Wednesday, I shot this other, and I'm shooting away, and the interpreter was helping me, and I kept looking at the interpreter, going, I said, "Do you ever model?" And she goes, "Yeah, I did on Monday with you." But she hadn't come all made up and dolled up and wearing... Oh. She looked so different.
Yeah.
And I've just gone, oh, shit.
Awkward.
So, and I explained it to her, and I said, well, I'd love to shoot again if you can come looking more like what you really look. And we did lingerie in the streets with her, with the roto lights. Not Erica, I can show you later. Oh. But I did that shoot with her. She was still hard work, but she looked so different. Like, I never ever used one of the pictures I did on the Monday with her, whereas I used 3 or 4 of the pictures I shot with her.
On the Wednesday. I always feel bad because we meet so many people when we travel, like...
Oh, it's all right for you. You can remember their names. I don't.
Sometimes I do. I feel bad.
People say, oh, yeah, this is so much good. I'm so glad I'm here again. I think, oh, fuck. I've got to remember you. I can't remember you.
I like to remember people's names, but it's really handy as well. Like, if I'm out at a party or even a festival or whatever, and I make new friends, and oh, what's your name? Nice to meet you. Blah blah blah. And then an hour later, I'm like, oh, I'll go ask such, and they're like, you're really good at remembering people's names when you first meet them. I'm like, well, it's part of my job. So but I feel bad if I don't remember people. Like, sometimes, like, if we bump into someone on the street, or if, like, someone comes back to another workshop, I feel horrible if I don't remember them. But at the same time, we meet so many people. Like, God, when we went to Europe last year, it was 7 weeks non-stop of workshops with 10 to 15 people. Like, that's so many people.
That's like something...
And a short amount of time. So it's just a whirlwind, and it's... it gets really whirlwindy, so I apologise if I don't remember everyone, but I try my hardest.
So I'm going to name drop, but it's not really a name drop. There's a long time ago, I was lucky enough to be paid for a very expensive hotel room, penthouse suite in a Hilton. It had 2 penthouses, and the lounge I was over there for work. My wife was with me, and a good mate of mine, his wife, was with us. They had we had a big 3-bedroom suite, and we're all in the lounge sitting, and I was trying to get off these images to my client. It was in days of slow internet, having trouble. So I was a bit frustrated working on my laptop, drinking. And I could hear them talking and hear an American voice in the background. I heard the guy say, "Cool T-shirt, man," this American accent, because Paul, my mate, had JFK for president on his T-shirt. Yeah. And then when I finally looked up, it was Billy Joel. And he got us tickets for his show that night. He said hi to us from stage. But when we were just talking around, he said that one thing people don't get is at least 50% of the world know what Billy Joel looked like. He turned around to Paul and says, "But nobody knows what you look like. So how would we remember? We meet you once, and you feel bad that we didn't remember you 3 years later, whereas you see me on TV. We met you once." And I always remembered that, because he was saying some of his sounds get really shitty. They might have met him 3 or 4 times, but it's a 1-second meeting, and unless they do something that connects, I'm certain Deadmau5 will remember me. So I made such a big fool of him.
I hope he doesn't remember me.
I think he'll remember you too. When I told him you had his tattoo.
Well, I did that at when we were at the SO that never started, because obviously they're doing the setup and everything, and Jared was working alongside his visual idol Taz, who's really big in the VJ world, which is a very niche community, but Taz is like the god of it all. I had met him the night before, and Jared and him were working. I met him last year as well, but besides the point, they were just working. I was a bit bored, so I got very wine drunk. Super unlike me, I know. And I was sitting there drinking, talking away, and then the next day Jared was working again, and I got up and was talking to him, and I was like, "Sorry, I don't think we've met." He's like, "Yeah, well, you were hanging out with us all night last night." But I've just gone in and just started like yapping away to him and completely not realised it was Taz.
It was in the dark though, wasn't it?
Yes, and I was drunk. But I just completely...
I couldn't see you doing that.
I just completely blanked on who Taz was and was just yapping away to him, and then was like, "Sorry, I don't think I've met you." But I had.
But you hadn't met Taz before?
I had.
Oh.
Just forgot what he looked like. Anyway, that's my embarrassing.
Although he doesn't have like a super memorable face, does he? No, he's just a dude.
He's just a dude, and he
so
doesn't, and you don't really see his face because he does visuals. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I know what he looks like, but he's not someone that stands out.
He's just a dude.
He's just a dude.
Just an Austrian dude who makes really cool visuals. He's a lovely guy as well. And then the turntables happened, and on the night that it got cancelled and we threw the crew party, he got very wine drunk.
Payback, and he couldn't remember you, right?
I was having to look after him a little bit because he kept nearly bumping into people. I was like, "This way." He babysat me, well, not really, because him and Jared were working, but yes.
Yes, you kept on interrupting your husband-to-be. You got told off for interrupting him because he was trying to work.
One of our neighbours
and you're already in party mode.
One of our neighbours babysat me.
From Depresso.
Depresso-teric.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're starting to rave again.
We are. And
just before we wrap up, I just realised, this is episode 144. That's nearly 3 years.
Wow.
And we have some idiots that actually listen to us still after 3 years. So
144 hours
of us.
Of us yapping.
Oh my God, do we owe you?
We do. Thank you for everyone that has...
We do. Really,
if anyone
really,
is still listening and have been here from the beginning, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. We don't make
really
a cent off.
Yeah,
we don't make a cent off this podcast. We just
do.
We want 2 cents off Buzzsprout.
No, our last monthly check was $21.50.
Excellent. That's 2 bottles of wine.
And so that's a month. That's for 4 podcasts.
Nice.
We don't do this for money. We do it as... We actually enjoy doing it, but we also do it because there's a lot of stuff that we just talk shit about, but then every now and then there'll be a little cookie.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for listening to us. We really appreciate it and happy to entertain your Thursdays or Fridays, depending
We
on where
should
you are.
plan a really big, what's going to be a 156. I need to write down, episode 156 needs to be big.
What do we mean?
Well,
Big?
that's 3 years.
Oh, okay. We'll do something cool. All right. Well,
Maybe we'll dress up as we were 3-year-olds.
okay, that sounds good. Can we get balloons?
We can do whatever you decide. It can be like a 3-year-old birthday.
Yay!
You can set up a 3-year-old birthday.
Sounds
fun. I
fun.
think I've just made a big mistake.
I'm excited.
But 3-year-olds don't drink wine.
This one does. Anyways, thank you guys, and
We'll see you next week.
see you next week. Bye.